Okay, once we have our civil geometry complete, it's time to go out and create the corridors for ramp 2, ramp 4, and Bighorn. To do that, we need a corridors file. So we're going to go up to the File pull-down menu and do a New. The default is already set to 2D Power GEOPAK file, so we're going to rename that J5P0100 underscore corridors.dgn. And we're going to copy that down to the file name. Once that's in the file name, we'll click OK, and we'll check in the current file, the civil geometry file. And once that's checked in, we'll go up to the reference dialog box, and we're going to do step 2 in here. We're going to bring in the terrain, the plan, and the civil geometry. So we'll go to Tools, Attach, and we're going to bring in those 3 files. Add those in. We will close out of the reference dialog and fit the view, and we should see all of our information in there we just created. Okay, the next thing to do is to set the terrain model active, so I'll hit F4 here just to clear out of any tool. And that magenta line that goes around the outside of our project, that is our terrain model, so we'll left click on it and pick the second tool in there, Set as Active Terrain Model. Now any corridors that we place out there, the end conditions will solve for us because it has an existing ground to go to. Okay, the next thing that we need to do in our corridors files, we need to be able to pull the template that we're looking for each one of these different corridors. So to do that, we're going to go under Tasks, down to Corridor Modeling, and we're going to get the Create Template tool, which is the template with the hammer icon. We'll pick that tool. This is the first time in GEOPAK today, so it automatically pulls me to the modot.itl. If it doesn't pull you to the modot.itl, it might pull you to a different one if you've been in GEOPAK and have been working. Then we need to open that one because we're going to save it, the default one, as our job number.itl. So if it doesn't say mo.itl, we need to go to the File, Open inside the Create Template. And we're going to go outside of ProjectWise. It's on the T drive. And under T drive, it's going to be under the Mo.Workspace, workspace, under Modeling, under Cross Sections, and there's the default modot.itl. That's the one that it's pulling up every time we open GEOPAK. So we're going to open that one up, and at the very top then it should say mo.itl for you. At this point we're going to save this as the J5P0100 ITL and put it in the data directory. So we'll just go File from the Create Template. We'll go Save As. And the first thing to look at is the folder that it's trying to go to, which is blank. So we need to make sure that we change that. So we hit the Change button. And we're going to go into the data folder that has our project. So in this particular case, it's District CAD Design, CAD User 16, Cole, J5P0100, and the data folder. So that's where we're going to place it, and then we're going to give it a name, J5P0100.itl. We're going to copy and paste that into the file name, and then we're just going to save that. Okay, once we save that, it should now at the top here reflect that change to J5P0100.itl. Okay, so it's just a copy of the default, or the mo.1 one. Okay, once you have that in there, you can close that dialog out. And we're going to create a corridor now, step number 6, for the Bighorn drive. So Bighorn drive is the existing alignment that runs down through the middle of our project. We're only going to do it for a portion of it, kind of where our ramp 2 and ramp 4 meet. So we're going to be doing one in this location. So under the tasks on the left hand side, we're going to go to the very first tool under corridor modeling, which is Create Corridor. We're going to select that, and move out on the screen. Out on the screen then it asks to locate the corridor baseline, so we're going to go over and pick Bighorn. Okay, this is where it's important that we imported Bighorn in our last step. When we imported geometry, it already made Bighorn EX the active profile for us. If we didn't import it, we needed to go back into the civil geometry and just make the existing ground the active profile. Okay, so as long as you have an existing profile for that one, you're able to right click in a blank area to accept the active profile. The next thing is the corridor name. We're going to name this Bighorn. You can have a space in there or not a space, whatever you'd like to do there. And then once you get that typed in, you can hit enter and it will go ahead and create that corridor. Now the corridor is for the entire alignment. No matter what you do, it's going to put that green shape all the way along your entire alignment. The next thing is to place a template drop, which it automatically steps us forward to the next tool, which is placing a template drop. Okay, in that dialog box, the first thing I like to do in here is go in and pick a different template. Currently, I have the triple dots where it says template. At the end of that, I have those triple dots, so I can select that to open up the ability to select a template. If that is not available to me right there, on the keyboard I have to hold the Alt key down and then click the down arrow. I'm going to hit the triple dots on this one, and it should pull us up to the J5P0100.itl, which it does. We're going to expand that out, and the one we're looking for is underneath the templates. So we'll expand that out. This is going to be an overlay. Put the plus on overlay. Then overlay with asphalt pavement widening and A2 shoulder, option 3. Okay, I can't quite see what's there, so I'm going to slide it over. And we are looking for, again, overlay with asphalt pavement widening. So overlay with asphalt pavement widening and A2 shoulder, option 3. So that particular item right there, we're going to expand that out. And we're going to go match existing slope surface course. So the very bottom one there, match existing slope surface course, we'll pick that. Should look like what we have in the right window there. We'll click OK on that. Then we'll come out on our screen and it'll say, are you sure that's the one that you wanted to use? And we'll just left click in a blank area to say yes, use that one. The next thing is the start station. We're going to put it at 13 plus 00. We're going to get rid of that, put in 13 plus 00 and enter that in. That locks it in at that location. You can see the dashed line, and we will left click to accept that. The next thing it asks for is the end station. We're going to put that at 19 plus 00. So we'll type that in, hit enter to lock it in. Draws us a little dash line to show where that ends, and we'll left click in a blank area to accept that. Our drop interval, we're going to put our template drops every 5 foot, so we'll put 5 in there and hit enter. And what that does is, if you've got it set at final design stage for your corridor, it's going to put template drops every 5 foot. If you've got it at preliminary, it's going to put them every 50 foot. So we're going to leave it at 5 foot and left click to accept that in a blank area. We don't do much transitioning. We usually handle that with parametric constraints. So we're going to left click to have 0 for the before and after drops. And you can give it a description if you want to in here. Don't have to, so I'm just going to left click to have no description. And what that'll do is that'll go out and place our corridor for Bighorn in that location, solve the end conditions and everything. If you don't have the end conditions solved, that means that you don't have the terrain model set as active. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is then we're going to do it for ramp 2 and ramp 4. So just zoom in a little bit there to ramp 2 and ramp 4. We're going to hit F4 on the keyboard to get out of that tool, and then we're going to go create the corridor again. So we're going to go to Tasks, the first tool under Corridor Modeling, Create Corridor. Out on the screen it asks us to pick the baseline. So that bottom line right there that we imported earlier is the ramp 2. As if I hover over that, I can see it says ramp 2 is the baseline name, and then it's got an active profile of ramp 2 PR. So when it asks later to use the active profile, that's the one that it's going to use. So we'll left click on ramp 2 and ask us right here, locate profile or reset for active profile. So we move into a blank area and we right click to reset to have it use the active profile. The next thing he wants to know is the corridor name, so we're going to give it ramp 2 and enter that in. As soon as you do that, it puts that green corridor for the whole entire ramp 2 alignment. Now we're going to go out and tell it the template drop that we want to use and where we want to use it. Okay, in this particular box you can see now the triple dots is gone from the template selection area. So what we have to do is move out onto the screen, and we're going to hold the Alt key down and the down arrow on the keyboard. Once you do that, that pulls up the Pick Template dialog box, and we can go out and select the one we're going to use for ramp 2. So I'm going to go over here and just hit the minus on overlay, and that'll kind of close that down a little bit, collapse it for us. And the one we want is going to be underneath of components. So we're going to expand out components. We're going to expand out pavement new. We'll find that one, expand it. Then we're going to go to asphalt pavement with shoulders. And the one we're going to look at as A2 shoulders with ag base. So that first one in there. And then asphalt pavement, one lane with ag base, asphalt shoulder. Okay, I believe that's the very first one that's in there. Okay, and that shows us what it's going to look like on the right hand side there. And that's the one that we want for our ramp. Okay, as you can see also in this one there's a green dot right here at the top, what they call the center line. So that's going to place this template on ramp 2 at that location. So when we place this, everything that's in here is going to be to the right of this baseline. So after this, we're going to go out and modify this template to move that to the location right here between the shoulder and the edge of pavement. And that will go ahead and move the pavement on one side and the shoulder on the other. So we're going to select this template, click OK, and then out on the blank area we're going to say yes, I want to use this template, so we're going to left click to accept it. And now it wants to know a start and end location. So in this one we're going to kind of do the same thing, just do it for a small area. So we're going to go 13 plus 0, 0 and enter that in. And that draws that dashed line there. We'll accept that with a left. And then the end station we're going to do 16 plus 0, 0, hit enter. And we'll draw a dashed line here, and we're going to left click to it in a blank area to accept that. Again, our drop interval, we'll leave it at 5 so we can accept that. And then we're going to just accept the rest of the way through, and it should draw in our information that we had typed in. Now you don't see an end condition here because in our template there was not an end condition. We're going to remedy that here next. Okay, so the next option then is going to be going out and modifying that template drop.